I'm living with sickle cell. It's not me. It's just
Hmm.
something that I live with.
Hmm. I like what you said though, that you don't let it define you. You really do not let it define you. And I'll admit I'm one of those. I'm like, Frankie, wait, and it's like,
Right.
don't you know?
I know it. I know it.
Sorry, I'm giving you advance apologies. I'm sorry. You're my baby. I'm sorry. Okay,
No, no,
so
no, no.
you,
And we're not mad over that, of course. That just shows that we have people that love us.
yeah,
So
of course,
we're definitely not mad at us. It's more so we just want to make sure that you all know that okay, we're feeling good at this particular time. So let's not talk about that. Let's not dwell on that.
yeah, yeah,
Let's do something else because during that time we're talking about it at all times.
yeah.
We're debilitated at that point. So we don't want to talk about it anymore. We really don't.
It's like,
So
that's happened. Let's look
you're
ahead.
right. That's happened. That's in the past. But let's do what we do. Now. And it's funny. I A good example of that is I had a nurse that saw me frequently. Um, Very great for me. But she's seen me during my sickest times,
Hmm.
and she actually saw me at a park with my sons, and she couldn't believe it. Like she's like, you look totally different, you seem totally different, you talk different, and it's like
I
she
mean,
realized that yes, even though I was very sick, there's times that I'm feeling great,
yeah.
and that is a duality, that people don't realize that we can do because we don't want to be stuck like that.
I think that's an interesting point that I wanted to at least just spend a couple of minutes on, which is with your being in pain at all times, right? You're still a husband, you're still a father, you still have those pivotal role. You span the entire spectrum. How does, like, how do you then show up differently, or do you, in each of those roles when you are in crisis and when you're not? What does that look like for you as a husband? What does it look like for you as a father with two boys who, one's all over the place and the other one wants to build Lego for like 5 hours a day? I don't know. But what does that look like when you're you're the disciplinarian, you're the one that's doing the
Mm.
homework, you're the one that's taking care of the household, you're the husband, you're all those things. What does it look like when it's Frankie in the normal pain management sense and Frankie when he's in crisis mode? Yeah.
So what I will say is, like you said it, I'm living with sickle cell. It's not me. It's just
Hmm.
something that I live with,
Hmm.
and I have to also know that yes, my wife is empathetic and she's there for me, but I have to understand that she's technically by herself for weeks at
Hmm.
times,
Hmm.
where she has to hold it down all on her own. So, what I'll make sure to do is when I'm present, I make sure that they have all of my time.
Okay.
I'm making sure that I do make my wife feel as much love as possible. I make sure that my sons, you know, are doing all the activities that they want to, playing their video games with them, having that, boy talk with them. I need to make sure I give them as much love and time as possible because next week I might be gone, you know. So somebody with sickle cell has to understand that you have to kind of put in that extra work because your wife, your spouse, they deserve a lot. If they're by your side and they're really helping you and they're holding it down, we have to understand that they are helping us tremendously, and they deserve our time, our love, and affection. So the times where I can't do as much, um, your spouse will still know he's my spouse. I love him and he has my best intentions. He's fully on me right now. He's just sick, but I don't feel any less than. And a funny story with the kids, as far as like teaching and things like that, I am that person, that the dad that helps with homework every night and studies with them. Um, I found the greatest feeling of doing that. Um, so the funny thing I was going to say, in the hospital, there was a time where my son had a very big math test coming up. So, in spite of me getting the pain medicine, as I told my son, I said, "Listen, I'm going to sound very groggy, but we're going to get an A on this test.
Mm.
So let's study." So we FaceTimed. I FaceTimed him, and he had his paper. I had my paper that I got from a nurse, and those are even situations where my nurse did come through a couple times, and at the last moment, she said, "Mr. James, are you studying with your child?" And I said, "Yeah, he has a test coming up." And she just thought it was the craziest thing ever. And it's like I said, I'm living with sickle cell, but that's not me. I have responsibilities. You know, I have my two sons that I love and adore, and I have my wife that I love and adore. They deserve as much as I can give them. And if there is something I can do in this hospital bed, I'm going to do it. Now, is that a possibility every single time? No. It just so happens I was able to kind of help him out during that time. I probably sounded very crazy to him, being, on all those medicines, but um, that's also a sign to help them know that we're here, that I'm still here. I have some hurdles, but I got you.
I think they're seeing, though, to me, what I think they're seeing is someone who powers through life when life tries to throw things at you, when life throws you the curveball. They're seeing someone who doesn't let something like this limit them. They see someone who finds creative ways to still get things done. And I mean, I'm not living in your home with you, right? I'm not in those intimate moments with your family, but I was able to get a little bit of an insight when we went on the family vacation recently, right? I
Hmm.
saw the love they have for you. I saw how it's almost as though there was that stepping in when you had to step back. There was
Mm,
never a missed moment. It was almost like an orchestrated dance. I saw how the whole family unit worked together, moved together. You were in synchrony. And
mm,
until you said this, I didn't realize that that's what it was. It was beautiful to watch. There was not a I didn't see or sense any kind of a man. It was a okay, and they just kept it going. So
right.
whether it was intentional or not, the way you're interacting with them, the way you're demonstrating life for them, I saw the appreciation, I saw the recognition, and I saw that you've taught them how to just be adaptable and how to adjust and flex when the unfairness of life comes at you. So I'm giving you
Amen.
accolades for that. I hope you're taking some credit.
I will say, like, even like, yes, I think you guys saw a good example of that during our family trip, because we do have a routine, and
Hmm.
we kind of know how to, like you said, jump in and out. So sometimes I'll tag team my wife, and she has to take over,
Yeah, and
and
that's
she
fine.
does the same, for me. And you know, I as a father is my greatest gift. That was also something I was told I couldn't do, is be a father. So with having my
Hmm.
two sons, first thing is first, I'm a father,
Yeah.
and I need to make sure, for kids, their biggest education is seeing it for themselves. So how am I going to tell my children to strive for success, strive for greatness, do better than your best, if I'm not doing the same myself? So I make sure that my kids do know, listen, I'm in here, but I've found many ways to take care of my household and everything in between. So it kind of gives them an idea of saying, okay, there is no excuses. Anything is possible. And we are strong. We just got to keep fighting.
I definitely
Um,
saw that.
and the biggest teacher of that is, you know, through actions. And cat's out the bag where during this family trip, I actually had a mini episode during our trip to one of the Disney parks. And I just said, isn't this sickle cell? It just can't let me be great sometimes. Like I said, it's spontaneous, and we got through most of the day, and I didn't tell them, but in my head I'm like, great, I'm almost at the finish line. You know, it got to, I think it was like 4 o'clock or so. I knew we were gonna be there some hours later, but for the most part, I was there most of the day. And the craziest of things happened. Just our trip, it happened that it was a big storm that just came like that during our stay, during our visit in Disney World. It just everything poured down on us, and like I said, a change in weather. So we came from having a hot day and I have fans on me and it's like I'm scorching, to it being
Freezing.
pouring down, raining. And because it was raining so hard, we had to go into one of the restaurants.
Oh,
So wet, cold,
you went from like
coming
80 plus,
from,
90 plus to
right,
freezing. And your
right.
body went, dude, what are you doing?
Like, what is this? Did we not learn?
Do we
Did we
not
not
know each
know this
other?
is not the thing to do? Yeah.
Oh my God.
So as we sat in there, and we, like, the kids were hungry, so it's like, okay, this is the best time for them to grab something to eat. And as we sat there, it was coming, and in my head I'm like, you better not.
You
You
could
better
feel it.
not. But I could feel it coming on. Understandably so, because of that weather change. In my head, it's a very, you know, of course that's a downtime for me. It was a sad point for me, um because it's, you know, not being able to do something special with my kids, and I never wanted this disease to affect any special moments that we might have. So in my mind, it was saddening. I never had a doubt of how this can be done,
Hmm.
because like you said, we do have a routine. So I looked over at my wife and I said, babe, and she looked at me and she said, really? And I said, yeah. And, you know, she automatically knew. She was like, all right, let's see if you can get a ride here. Let me get you a wheelchair. And she got the wheelchair, and then she just was, she's on go mode. So,
Hmm.
you know, thank God for her. She, you know, she knows exactly what to do. Um, and as much as it hurts, you know, she made sure to, you know, take videos of the few extra hours that they were there. They didn't do too much because it actually started raining again.
Hmm.
So, you know, there's always other trips, but that's just a big example of, you got to have a system. You
Yeah.
have to
Yeah.
have a routine in case of emergency.
Yeah.
And that was one of the things that was pretty rough. Um, Again, because I've taught my kids so much, they were cool too, surprisingly, which I thought, I didn't expect that from them myself. So, you
Hmm.
know, as definitely, I told them what the deal was, and they said, "All right, you going home? All right, we'll see you when we get home." Like
They're like,
nothing,
peace
like,
out. See you later, Dad.
right? It was like on,
Yeah.
you know. So, you know, that just shows that they're prepared as well, and they kind of know what a deal is. And for any sickle cell warrior out there, I think that's the biggest thing. Many people just won't go to that trip.
Hmm.
They'll just, in their minds, just already tell themselves, I'm going to be sick, I
Yeah.
can't do it, or I can't do this job because it's too much on my body, I'm not even going to try. That is what's going to hurt you the most. Um, the power of the tongue, and you telling yourself how much you can't do, you won't be able to do it
Right.
if you keep
Right.
telling yourself that.
Right.
You do have to have that mindset of I'm going to do whatever, regardless of what's going on inside. Like I'm going to do what I have to do. Now, is it a burden at times because if something happens during that episode? Yes, but never let it deter you from anything because you will be that person curled up in a corner wasting away your life because you're telling yourself what you can't do or listening to naysayers about what you're not able to do.
So you've been married how long now?
Ooh,
You better know
it's
that
going
number.
on. It's going on 11 years now.
Okay.
Yes.
So 11 years of marriage, years of a relationship. So you and your spouse you have your own rhythm, but you've also grown as the disease itself has changed. What is it like? How was it navigating that transition? I would call it in your relationship, right? Because I'm sure when you first met, it may not have been to the degree that it is now, and years later, here's where we are. How did you guys grow together through that?
Funny story. um, but yes, it definitely is, like you said, a transition. Um, when we met during that time, I was on top. You know, there was nothing that was stopping me during that time. I wasn't getting sick. If I didn't tell you I had sickle cell, you wouldn't know. Um, I was at a big height at that moment when I did meet my wife. Um, and of course, we had a few dates, and I told her in my head, I said, I do. I'm gonna have to tell her eventually. She has no idea because
Mm-hmm.
again, she hasn't seen that side before. So I had to give her that conversation of what I have and what I could be dealing with. She was surprised. She didn't. She was like, "You have that," and I said, "You know, of course." She was very surprised that I had it. Fast forward, it was a very early date, but it was a special date, and I planned the whole day, and it was exciting because it was going to be a surprise. It was going to be dinner. We're going to go out to town. I planned it all. It was perfect. And at the conclusion of our date, I started feeling it,
Oh no.
and I said, "This has got to be the most embarrassing thing." Because at that time, I'm still courting.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
Still on your
we're
best behavior.
dating,
Everything's
but we're not
perfect.
right. We're not quite there yet. She's gonna. I'm gonna have to go to the hospital, and she's most likely gonna have to drive me to that hospital. So I laugh about it now, but it was so hurtful because I did plan this out,
Hmm.
and I planned out a perfect night, and it's like what a way for her to see what I go through. But at that moment is when you know you have a good spouse. I told her what was going on. I said, "I'm sorry, don't know how else to tell you, but I probably need you to drive me to the hospital." She drove me to the hospital. She changed because she was, of course, looking beautiful in her dress and heels. She changed into some sweatpants and a hoodie, and she came back to the hospital, and
Oh
she sat with
wow.
me in that emergency room the whole night. Um, that I was like, okay, God,
She's a
if
keeper.
there's ever a sign,
She's a
that's a
keeper.
pretty good sign.
You had your in sickness and in health before you said I do.
Both exactly. I was like, God, there it is. Like that's part of it. She's doing it.
Wow.
So that definitely was one of the signs. So she kind of learned early is what I'm getting at. Um, of what this would be like, what this life would be.
Yeah.
And even after that, I still remained pretty healthy during that time. Um, but it was always something that anything that happened, I would explain to her what's going on.
Hmm.
A doctor's visit, I'll tell her, okay, these are what they're looking for. These are the medications that I take. If this goes wrong, this is what I have to do. I was just making sure to keep that communication and just letting her know all the steps that goes behind it. So from there, she educated herself.
Yeah.
She was the one that was, looking up information on her own and figuring out what would be some things that might help me and things of that nature. Um, Fast forward to now that we have two boys, we're married and everything, is it turned into I trust her. I trust her with my kids. I know that my kids are going to be well taken care of, even though I'm gone. The routine won't stop. She'll continue to hold it down for us. Everything's going to run smoothly, whether I'm here or not. I know that she's going to do what she needs to do, and that's very important. So I believe for anybody else looking for that spouse, you do have to find that
Hmm.
one that's willing to be with you in spite of, um, knowing that there'll be more good days than bad.
I like the fact that you use the term sickle cell warrior, right?
Mhm.
So as a warrior, what is your biggest internal battle that you fight that no one sees?
And that is a phrase that the sickle cell community call themselves, and I believe that the biggest reason for that is, like you said, it's a battle, but every day is a battle.
Hmm.
Like I said, there's always pain. There's always something here, something there. There's other complications that come with sickle cell as well, where you have to be prepared for a lot of different things, and we have no choice but to fight it. We have no choice but to get past it, um, because there's nothing that we can do to get rid of it. There is no cure, of course. We're getting closer and closer to it, but there's no true cure yet that's viable. Um, so every day is a battle, and every night you lay your head down, you're thinking about, if I won this battle today. But even if we didn't win this battle today, we're still going to win this war. All
Amen.
right.
Amen.
And we're going to persevere. And like I said, some days are not so good, but we can also be great.
Amen.
Um, so, yeah, it's just a constant battle that we face that we fight it head on.
So you're 40, right?
Hmm.
If you were
Yep.
to sit down now in front of a 20-year-old who is with sickle cell, what would you say to him to inspire in him and ignite in him what burns so brightly and clearly inside you to keep you moving and pursuing and never giving up?
If I go back to my 20-year-old self, I say, wow, you're a good looking guy. But,
I concur.
right. Like, you're doing great.
You're a handsome man.
You're a real handsome man. Do you work out? Do you work out? Okay, we can tell, right? um, but also, like I said, I've had complications, and if I could go back to my 20-year-old self, I would just say you're doing a great job. There's things that um I probably could have uh had more self care for myself during that time to prevent some of the problems that I have now. I don't regret it.
Yeah,
And so I would never tell him, hold off, because if you don't, this is what's going to happen at 40. I tell him to keep doing it,
keep doing it.
keep going. I don't regret it at all. I don't regret any of those things because it was lessons and of perseverance. During that time, I conquered goals. Many things that were told me I couldn't do, I accomplished it during that time. So may could have helped me now if I probably took something off back then, yes, but I would never take it back. So I just tell them keep going, keep striving for greatness. There's nothing that I regret, and I do think everything happened for a reason, and um, I do believe all that perseverance and accomplishments that I had back then helped me to be the man I am today. Um, and I've accomplished a lot in my lifetime, and it comes from believing and also seeing those battles being won.
Is there any one thing that you attribute your perseverance to?
Um, the perseverance, a few things. It's definitely the woman in my family. Um, they've gone through so much, and they have each persevered in so many obstacles that they have had in their lives. Um, you name one, they've all been through so much, and they've accomplished so much. That's what we saw, and I don't know. There's a lot of things that you all thought that we didn't see or couldn't comprehend at that young age. But I did.
Wow.
I remember it all. And I always thought to myself, the woman in this family is so strong. They're fighters, and they've accomplished everything that they've set their hearts to. Um, they've been through heartache and pain, and they have come out victorious every time. Who am I to not try to persevere and keep moving forward? Because I have the biggest examples, and one that I'm looking at right now, and my mom, my aunts, and my grandmother. I couldn't ask for better role models in my life.
Well,
There's none better.
you are
Of
an inspiration. You inspire us. I'll speak for myself. You inspire me. I'm proud of my little Panky Poo. But honestly, all kidding aside, I am proud of the man you've become. In the absence of having a strong male role model in the family, you've grown to be so accomplished, so driven. You've become an exceptional father and husband. And it's not as though there was a rule book or someone you could sit beside and follow along and say, okay, this is how to do it. So I listen. I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. You make my heart proud. You make me very happy. I love my little baby. But in sitting at the intersection, right, of nephew, father, brother, uncle, cousin, all of that. What is that legacy that you want to leave behind?
I want to leave a legacy that of kind of things that I've saw and as a child. I want to leave that same type of legacy to my kids and future generations, and I want to inspire as much sickle cell warriors as I can. Um, like I said, I do believe everything happens for a reason. Because as I began to get more sick and more, issues in the hospital, I've learned a lot more from other people with sickle cell. I really didn't have, and I wasn't really in a group of others with sickle cell. And I've met so much while being in the hospital these past few years. And that has taught me that there's a lot of things that I can pass on to people. I have already started doing that with just fellow patients that I see in the hospital that might have sickle cell. And there's been some, family members that have come to me saying that their son has sickle cell, but he's very depressed. He's has thoughts of ending his life, and or he feels like he can't do anything, but we see that you're persevering. Can you call him? Can you give him some words? And the first time I did that, um was a friend of the family's, their son, um who was very down. He was very debilitated, and doctors didn't really have a good, like, prognosis on what's going to happen with him. Just a little backstory might be a little sensitive, but it was to the point where he was just drooling uncontrollably, and he was very frail. He was he was about 6 feet, but he probably didn't weigh any more than 120 pounds.
Wow.
Could barely move, could barely talk, and so that's why it was such a shock to them that I also have sickle cell.
They
So
had
they
this
just
one
reached out.
image. They had this one image in mind of what.
Right, they had that one image and thought that every person with sickle cell does look like that, and sometimes you will see a lot of people that do have that frail body, but for this certain person, he was going through some rough times, and part of his struggle was his mental. Um, he had given up, pretty much, for lack of a better word. He he didn't want to go on anymore, um, because the disease got the best of him, and at that point, you know, sickle cell was just him. That defined him.
Mhm.
And that's why he gave up. So with me just encouraging him and just talking to him over time, he really turned around. He did much better. He's still not out of the dark yet, but he's doing way better now. And that gave me more joy than all the businesses and things that I did in my past and the accomplishments with my jobs that I've had. It that touched me more than that ever did. That brought so much joy to my soul that even one person I could help. So I do believe that was a calling. So as a legacy to leave on, that's what I want to do. It's just letting people know, not even just with sickle cell, that everybody's going through something. Everybody has something going on with them. That does not mean that's the end. It's just speed bumps in life. No matter how hard you might think something is, or how hard you think your life is, there's always somebody going through worse. You have to understand that that's not the cause for you to stop. And it's something that I always tell people that, in the Bible it says, though I walk through the valley of shadow and death. But, if you notice, he didn't say to walk around it. He didn't say go over it.
Goes through it.
It says go through it.
Yeah.
So, which means there's going to be trouble and turmoil in your life. Unfortunately, it might be sickle cell. It might be something else. But that's part of life. Why should I be sad about it? Why should I be down about it when I know I'm going to accomplish this? And I will find a way through. The power of tongue is real. And manifestation is real. So if I can give that on to people, that will be the legacy that I would love to pass on.
Okay. So I like what you said. It's just speed bumps in life, and what I heard continuously is you saying nothing. Like basically your life is not wasted. This is did not happen for no reason, right? So with all of that packaged together, I'd like to make you an invitation. I'd like to invite you to start your own podcast. I'd like to invite you to be the voice for other sickle cell warriors, starting with you, and starting with just the fact that you could have a conversation with one person who, it turned their life around, where they changed their mind from taking their own life to, putting one foot in front of the other.
Mhm.
So I'd like to be. I'm your official groupie starting now. So
Right.
that's my invitation. I hope you take me up on it.
And you know what? I don't know if your other interviews have gone this way, but I want to give you your flowers of somebody that has accomplished so much despite of any obstacles in your way. You have been a pillar of wisdom from the moment I saw you the first time, until now. You continuously give me wisdom and strength, and you're also walking that walk because you've accomplished so much in your life, and you still have that strive to do even more, and then do even more. Um, I always thought to myself, you're able to give such great advice to people. You're able to really have conversations that um, affect people in a positive way. And just your intelligence alone is just, there's no other way. This has to be the thing for you. It's a podcast. So when I heard that you started your own, I just felt as though this is perfect for you. She's the person that needs a podcast. Of
Wow.
course, there's a lot of podcasts out. You know, when you decided to make that decision for yourself, I said, this is who the people need to hear.
Thank
And
you.
I know that in this podcast, you're going to do wonderful things and you're going to affect so many people's lives. And I'm just glad to sit back and eat my popcorn for every episode because I know it's going to be food for the soul. I know that you're going to encourage, inspire, and let people, understand that they can be them, be you.
Thank
So, uh, if you are giving me that stamp that I should do that, there's no other thing that I can do but to start it. So,
I am giving you your stamp. I'm inviting
all
you to
right,
start it, and you have an official, formal invitation to come back and introduce it in
definitely.
a month by end of 2025.
Yes,
Do, say, and be. The people are out there waiting for you.
yes,
They're waiting for you.
definitely.
I thank you for spending your, oh my goodness, I didn't realize we were on this long, but thank you for the conversation and
This is how we talk.
invitation.
Any
It is.
the
Time just
people
runs
out there,
out.
that's how we talk. That's
Yeah, it's just
we're
like,
talkers.
oh shoot, it's an hour now. Oh
Yeah,
wow.
yeah. That's
But
that's us.
yeah,
That's us.
yeah.
How many times we've talked outside and then we're looking at and like, oh, it's nighttime. I guess we've been talking for a long time.
Yeah, or it's one of those, oh, I'm just gonna send you this note. You'll see it in the morning at like 12:38. Oh, I'm up, I'm respond. And now that's like an hour conversation right there.
Right,
You know,
exactly.
time is
That's how
irrelevant.
we are.
Time is irrelevant. But your time is now, and people are waiting to hear. There are others out there because they need to see this face. I don't know that I can think of a face that comes along with sickle cell, a face that says, I'm walking your walk. I know exactly what you're feeling. I've experienced some of the prejudice that you've experienced. Here's how I've navigated in those spaces to give them some real life, the cheat code, if you will, in navigating this illness, to live a life, to not be limited. You have your businesses, you are a husband, you are a father, you're fully living in all those different roles. And oh, by the way, I have sickle cell.
Right.
But for many others, I have sickle cell, and oh, you want me to be this? You're the complete opposite, and that I extreme appreciation for your putting the right perspective on it. Like, oh, I have that. It doesn't have me. You're not saying
Right.
it's my sickle cell. I have that. It happened to me, but here's who I am. So I
Right.
commend you for that. And I thank you for hopping on and just
I
giving a
thank
little
you.
insight into your world to our listeners. And I can't wait to have you back on before end of the year.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
You heard it here. So please stay tuned. Check out the podcast of my beautiful, intelligent, smart, funny Auntie Pat. That's what we call her. That's what I call her, Auntie Pat. Please stay in tune. Food for the soul is what I can give an example to
Yeah.
with you and your podcast. And I, like I said, I'm very excited to the people that you are going to touch and
Thank
inspire.
you. Thank you.
So make sure you guys tune in to every show, and like she says, you'll hear from me in a little while, and we'll have everything up and running.
I'm looking forward to it. My Panky Poo, my baby, my baby.
Only
Thank
you.
you.
Only
Yes,
you.
I mean, Mr. Mr. Frank James, sir.
Hmm. Hmm. Yes. Only you.
Sir, I thank
Yes.
you for your time. But I don't thank you. Sweetie, I
Thank you
love you
so
so
much.
much. I love you.
Love
I
you.
bless you. I cover you. I I just know there's so many great things for you, and I can't wait. I can't wait to come along for the ride.
I can't wait for yours either.
We're in this together. Thank you, my
Together.
love. Thank
All
you.
right. Thank
We'll
you.
talk soon.
All right. Love you.
Love you. Bye.
All right. Bye.